Today's title is Our Father. Last week we finished the story of Joseph. He lived a life that pleased God, but he suffered until he was restored. We learned that some suffering was caused by his father's love for him. And so today, since we're talking about fathers, we're going back to Joseph, where Joseph's father really loved him so much that he caused him to suffer, because he caused his brothers to dislike him, to hate him, actually. He actually made a coat for Joseph, but yet he didn't give a gift to anybody else. And he had several sons. And so, knowing that we need a father in our life, but our father needs to know what his purpose is. And so today we're speaking on fathers' roles. According to God's design, a father was first to be created in God's image. And that's in Genesis 1:26, which I'm going to cover because I'm going to break it down. Okay? So it tells that God was our original father. So I'm going to be doing Genesis 1:6. I'm coming from the King James Version. It starts off with, Our Father, which art in heaven. Jesus is telling us who God is and where he lives. Hallowed be thy name. His name is holy. God's name is holy. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus is expressing God's desire for us. What he has in heaven, his organization, his laws, his rules, his principles, his promises, he wants those same things for us down here on earth. And so that's what Jesus is saying. As you pray, pray that that would take place right here. He wants his kingdom to be here on earth. Give us this day our daily bread. God will provide us daily. Some of us want to have provisions for the whole week or the whole month. And yet God said, I provide for you daily. One of the reasons is we're not guaranteed to be here every single day. Every time we wake up, it's a blessing to us. So if we wake up and we're able to move and do all the things that we would love to do, we know that's a blessing, and that means that God provided for us daily. He provides the water and the food, the light, and everything that we need daily. So if we can get that in our mind to stop trying to jump ahead, which means we're going before God, and stay on a daily basis, then we have the opportunity to see our blessings. A lot of times we don't, because we're moving so fast and we're moving so far. Next week I need to do. Well, next week may not come for you. You may be in glory, which is much better than being here trying to do what you want to do next week. So it's daily. And Jesus is saying to remind us to pray and ask for provisions daily. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Let me make it proper. We are being asked to forgive others as Jesus is forgiving us, as God is forgiving us. The things that we do on a daily basis that we shouldn't be doing. So we ask for forgiveness at the end of the day, or maybe we ask for forgiveness in the morning when we wake up. Forgive us for what happened yesterday. But he can't forgive us if we don't forgive others. And so this is made clear. As long as we continue to forgive others when they do something to us, then he can forgive us. And lead us not into temptation. Don't allow us to be tempted by the earthly things. That's what that means. Lead us not into it. God is not going to lead us into things that are wrong. But we allow the worldly things to tempt us. And so we're asking, Lord, please make sure that we don't see those things as more important than you. Don't allow us to be led into temptation with the things of this world. But deliver us from evil, which means keep our minds pure. safe from worldly traps. When we're thinking of the Lord, and we know how good he is according to that song, we're not allowing our mind to be trapped by Satan's lies, because he comes to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're all lies. But we have to be able to stop them, block them. And when they come and we haven't done that, then we have to be able to say, get behind me, Satan. I realize what you're doing. And the only way we can do that is knowing that God loves us, knowing that we have what he has given us, an ability to have a pure mind, and to cast out those things and think of good things. Like I said before I started, if I told you the things that happened today, you're going to be, but that's so weird. Yes. And yet I didn't allow it to get me so upset to the point where I just don't even want to go. I don't want to come. I don't want to do what God has asked me to do. What I did is I started putting my mind on the things of God. And I started singing that song, because he is a good God. And when I did that, that blocked out everything that the enemy could have done. Because he could have, if I had allowed him, caused me to complain all the way here. As I'm driving, complaining about what happened and going over it and over it and over it. Instead, I started singing God's song. And I was happy by the time I walked in the door. I was running late. Normally I'm here and already set up. But the enemy is going to do what he does forever until we take our last breath. Now remember last week I had said that he likes to get a piece of the action. And that had come to me because back in the day, you know that they had the different gangs and the different, mobsters and things like that, and they always wanted to take territory. This is territory, and the enemy wants it. So he wants a piece of the action, and he can't get it unless we give it to him. And all we have to do is just open up that door with one thought, let him in, and then he takes over. You remember in the beginning, he said to Eve, did God really say? That was that one opening door, because she responded. Had she just looked at him and said, I don't even know who you're talking to, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But she responded. Well, no, this is what he said. Now he's in. So every time we open that door, he is not going to say, oh, you know what, I don't want to take care of you today. I'm going to go get somebody else. That's never going to happen. The moment we open that door, he's going to rush in. And he never comes in by himself. He has all these little demons that he brings with him. Because once he gets in and he gets them in, then he can go someplace else and start all over again. So that's one of the things that's part of that prayer. But deliver us from evil. Keep our minds pure. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. It's stating that all is God's and all is in his kingdom. And he has all the power. And he will get the glory. So if we keep our minds on that, knowing that he's the king in his kingdom, he has all power, and he's going to get the glory, then we know that we're going to be well taken care of. We're going to get the glory. Okay, this is what an earthly father should be for his family. Just what I just finished reading. Because God created man in his image. So he was the first father. Adam was the first father. So those things should be what he should be doing. I have down here one. The father should be a planner. Plans their future, meaning his family's future. He should be a provider. Take care of their needs. And he should be a protector. Number 3. Keep them safe from danger. That is why man was placed here, to multiply and then to do these things, because that's what God does for us. He provides for us. He plans our life. We know that. That's in Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. And he definitely protects us. This is what a father should be. Today I'm going to be talking about Ephesians 6:4. I will begin with the verse because this verse is stating that what fathers should be. And yet the fathers are not in the home, so they can't do the things that it says that they should do. My question is, why are fathers designed to be listed to do these things, and yet they're not there to do them? So I think Ephesians, is Ephesians on the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Ephesians 6:4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. Do not exasperate them to the point of resentment with demands that are trivial or unreasonable or humiliating or abusive, nor by showing favoritism in indifference to any of them, but bring them up tenderly with loving kindness in the discipline and instruction of the Lord.
So why aren't the fathers at home here in America? I have 4 reasons why they're not at home. Tomorrow is Father's Day because we have service on Saturday. They're going to be honoring fathers, but they're going to be honoring the fathers that are home, the ones that are doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. Those are the ones that are going to be honored. However, it's not going to be a lot. It's not many. Because in America, it's easy for a man to walk away from his family, and it shouldn't be, but it is. The only thing the courts can do is say, well, since you have left your family and you have a job, you have to provide. So they become providers. But what good is it to provide if your child doesn't even know you're providing, number one, and number two, he doesn't even know you because you're not there. So one of the reasons is abandonment. They just walk away. They can't deal with the pressure, especially if they have, say, more than one. And in this economy, it would be horrible. And yet they still walk away. Things are so high, so expensive, and they abandon their family when they're needed the most. So that's one of the reasons. Another one is divorce. The wife and the husband don't get along. And instead of them staying together for the children until the children become adults and then part their ways, they leave, and they leave the children fatherless. So now our generation that's coming up is lost because there is no father in the house when they could have worked it out. And if they were with the Lord would have worked it out. He would have, because he does not like divorce. That's what the word says. Some reasons are the military, because there's wars and rumors of wars, and it's growing and growing. Who goes to war? Men. Nowadays women do too, but mostly men. And a lot of times they go and they don't come back. And so that would make the household fatherless. And then the last one is prison. Prison. And that's because they wind up doing something they should not have done for many reasons. It could be because they were trying to take care of their family and they had no job, no means. And so they figured, okay, let me do a shortcut. And remember, they didn't think about that on their own. They let the enemy come in and tell them, well, why don't you go do this? Then you'll have some money and you'll be able to take care of your family. And there's so much out there to do. Oh my goodness. There's drugs, there's human trafficking. You name it, it's there. So all you need is the enemy to get in your mind to say, well, you can get it this way. Then you'll be able to provide. And the next thing you know, you're going to prison. One thing about the enemy, he'll give you an enticement and it will look wonderful, but it doesn't last. And so you're up for about 5 minutes and then you're down. So it took you, say, maybe 30 minutes to do whatever it was you were going to do. It took you maybe a couple of days to plan what you were going to do. And then you get caught and you're doing 25 to 30 or maybe even more. So was it worth it? Of course not. So those are the main 4 things why the father isn't in the home. The Bible has many verses for those who are fatherless. However, we need our fathers to come back home and live.